Welcome to Scotland. A land where ancient volcanoes shaped cities and legends still echo across the Highlands. In 1746, a single battle changed the fate of this nation, leaving stories carved into every valley and hill. Here, mist hides secrets older than kingdoms, and every loch seems to guard a mystery waiting to be uncovered. Scotland stands as one of the world's most distinctive landscapes, defined by rugged mountains, quiet islands, and deep glacial lakes. Its culture blends Gaelic traditions, storied clans, and centuries of craftsmanship shaped by land and sea. From volcanic capitals to remote archipelagos, this nation offers contrasts that feel both ancient and remarkably alive. Before we explore the places that make Scotland unforgettable, let's begin with a question for you. How well do you know Scotland? Which of the following is Scotland's largest lake by surface area? Comment your answer below. If meaningful and inspiring journeys like this resonate with you, please support the channel. Liking and subscribing is completely free, yet it helps creators more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments, which country should we explore next? Geography and location. Scotland occupies the northern third of the United Kingdom, shaped by volcanic hills, deep glacial valleys, and over 790 islands. Its landscapes shift quickly, from rugged Atlantic coasts to gentle eastern shores, creating one of Europe's most diverse natural regions. Culture and traditions. Scottish culture blends Gaelic heritage, clan identity, and centuries-old storytelling. Traditional music, tartan patterns, and Highland gatherings continue to reflect a strong sense of community and belonging. Food and cuisine. Scottish cuisine highlights local ingredients such as salmon, oats, and root vegetables. Dishes like Cullen skink or hearty stews represent the country's coastal and Highland character without relying on complex flavors. History and heritage. Scotland's past includes ancient kingdoms, iconic battles, and a long tradition of fortified castles. Historic sites across the nation reflect struggles for independence and the growth of a unique cultural identity. Economy and lifestyle. Modern Scotland balances technology, energy, tourism, and creative industries. Life in the Central Belt is urban and connected, while the Highlands and Islands offer quieter communities shaped by nature and tradition. Unique laws or customs. Scotland recognises clan chiefs, and each clan has a distinct tartan pattern linked to its lineage. Gaelic place names remain common throughout the Highlands, preserving both language and cultural memory. Edinburgh. Edinburgh rises across volcanic hills, creating a cityscape shaped by stone, history, and shifting northern light. Its geography gives the capital a dramatic profile, with ridges and cliffs forming natural viewpoints over the surrounding coast. The city's story stretches back centuries, reflected in narrow closes, preserved squares, and layers of architecture that reveal different eras. The medieval Old Town holds winding streets built from dark stone, while the Georgian New Town displays balanced lines and sandstone facades that feel almost sculpted. Culture thrives in both districts, supported by festivals, literature, and a long tradition of craftsmanship. Local markets, street performances, and small artisan shops add character to daily life without overwhelming the city's historic rhythm. Food in Edinburgh blends local produce with modern influences. Fresh seafood, oat-based dishes, and simple baked goods appear often, especially in smaller cafes and family-run eateries. The city's economy reflects a mix of tourism, education, and creative industries. Its universities contribute to a lively environment, while independent businesses maintain a distinct local identity. Arthur's Seat, an ancient volcanic hill rising 251 meters, 823 feet, offers one of the best views in the country. From its summit, the city stretches toward the North Sea, connecting Edinburgh's natural foundations with its cultural landscape in a single sweeping scene. Glasgow. Glasgow stands on the banks of the River Clyde, shaped by centuries of industry, culture, and changing urban landscapes. The city stretches across gentle lowland terrain, creating broad streets and open neighborhoods that feel welcoming and easy to navigate.
Its history is visible in Victorian buildings, red sandstone homes, and grand civic structures that once reflected Scotland's industrial strength. These older districts now blend with modern architecture, creating a contrast that defines Glasgow's evolving identity. Culture drives much of daily life. Music, street art, and community events bring color to the city, while museums and galleries highlight both local stories and international work. Neighborhoods like the West End feel vibrant and creative, shaped by students, artists, and independent shops. Food in Glasgow ranges from classic fish dishes to simple baked goods and seasonal ingredients sourced from surrounding regions. Small cafes, fresh markets, and modest restaurants contribute to a relaxed local dining scene. Economically, Glasgow is a major centre for education, design, and media. Its universities and creative industries support a young urban lifestyle, while historic trades still influence the city's character. Landmarks such as the University of Glasgow, with its Gothic towers, offer sweeping views of the surrounding district. Walking through these areas reveals the city's balance of heritage and modern energy, making Glasgow one of Scotland's most distinctive destinations. Isle of Skye. The Isle of Skye stretches along Scotland's northwest coast, defined by rugged cliffs, sharp ridgelines, and sweeping Atlantic views. Its landscape feels dramatic at every turn, shaped by ancient volcanic activity and centuries of wind and water. Skye's history lives in castle ruins, coastal settlements, and stories passed through generations. Small villages retain a quiet rhythm, where local traditions and the Gaelic language remain part of everyday life. This cultural continuity gives the island a character that feels deeply rooted, yet welcoming. Food on Skye reflects the island's environment. Fresh fish, simple seafood dishes, and locally made baked goods appear in many small eateries. These ingredients highlight the connection between local cuisine and the surrounding coast. The island's economy depends on tourism, small-scale fishing, and crafts created by local artisans. Visitors find a slower pace of life here, supported by family-run businesses and community markets. Natural landmarks define Skye's appeal. The Old Man of Storr rises with jagged pillars shaped by erosion, offering views across the sea and hills. The fairy pools create clear blue-green cascades at the foot of the Quillen Mountains, while Neist Point Lighthouse marks the island's western edge with cliffs that drop steeply into the ocean. Every viewpoint reveals shifting light and changing weather, creating a landscape that feels alive and endlessly captivating. Loch Ness. Loch Ness stretches through the Highlands as a long, deep glacial lake surrounded by forests, hills, and quiet rural settlements. Its geography is striking. The waters reach depths of about 230 meters, 754 feet, creating one of the largest freshwater volumes in the United Kingdom. History along the loch includes ancient forts, early settlements, and stories preserved through local traditions. Urquhart Castle, positioned on a rocky promontory, reflects centuries of conflict and remains one of the most recognizable landmarks on its shores. Morning mist often moves across the water, adding atmosphere without needing myth or embellishment. Local culture around Loch Ness carries Highland influence, shaped by small villages, craft shops, and family-run establishments. Simple dishes using local produce, such as fresh fish or oat-based meals, appear in modest cafes near the loch. Tourism is central to the area's economy. Visitors arrive to explore nature trails, learn the history of nearby castles, or take boat tours that reveal the loch's scale and surrounding ridgelines. Shops and guest houses support a steady flow of travelers while maintaining a community-centered environment. Beyond the legend of Nessie, the landscape itself feels commanding. Dense pine forests frame the shoreline, and wildlife such as red deer and birds often appear near quieter stretches of the water. The combination of natural beauty, deep history, and serene atmosphere makes Loch Ness one of Scotland's most memorable destinations. Glencoe. Glencoe lies in the Western Highlands, carved by ancient glaciers that shaped steep walls, deep valleys, and dramatic ridgelines. Its geography creates one of Scotland's most recognizable landscapes, where mountains rise abruptly above quiet roads and shifting light reveals new details every hour. The valley carries a long history marked by clans, settlements, and difficult moments that shaped Highland identity. Stories of the 1692 events remain part of local memory, but the wider history of Glencoe reflects centuries of life in a remote mountain region. Old paths, stone foundations, and traditional practices still influence the character of the surrounding communities. Local culture appears in small villages scattered through the glen. Simple Highland dishes, warm soups, oat-based meals, and fresh local produce are common in family-run eateries. These touches give visitors a sense of everyday life in the Highlands. Outdoor activities shape the modern economy of Glencoe. The area offers hiking routes, scenic drives, climbing opportunities, and winter sports when conditions allow. Its position near major Highland roads makes it a frequent stop for travelers exploring the region. Landmarks, such as the Three Sisters, show the valley's geological power, with tall ridges creating narrow corridors of rock and heather. Waterfalls descend from high slopes, and low clouds often drift through the peaks, giving the glen a quiet, cinematic atmosphere. Glencoe's mix of history, rugged beauty, and outdoor adventure makes it one of Scotland's most defining landscapes. Loch Ness, Applecross. Loch Ness rises through the Applecross Peninsula as one of Scotland's highest and most dramatic mountain passes. Its narrow road climbs to about 626 meters, 2,054 feet. Creating sharp turns and steep gradients that reveal wide views over ridges, valleys, and distant islands. The route carries a history shaped by isolation and coastal life. Built in the early 1800s, it once served as the only link between Applecross and the mainland. This connection influenced local communities whose traditions developed in a landscape defined by limited access and strong ties to the sea life around the pass. Reflects Highland culture. Small settlements depend on fishing, seasonal trade, and simple foods prepared from local ingredients. Fresh seafood, especially haddock and shellfish, appears often in nearby eateries, giving visitors a taste of the region's coastal identity. The modern economy benefits from tourism, with travelers arriving for scenic drives, photography, and quiet exploration. Despite its popularity, the area keeps a calm atmosphere thanks to its remote location, and small population landmarks enhance the journey. Hairpin bends reveal sweeping views across Loch Ness, and on clear days the outline of Skye and Raasay appears on the horizon. Reaching Applecross at the end of the pass brings visitors to a peaceful coastal village where slow tides and mountain silhouettes create a striking contrast. Bealach Naba remains a memorable route, part historical pathway, part natural viewpoint, capturing the rugged character of the Western Highlands. Cairngorms National Park. Cairngorms National Park spans a vast section of the Eastern Highlands shaped by glacial plateaus, deep valleys, and broad mountain ranges. Its landscape includes some of the UK's highest peaks, creating open, elevated terrain with wide views and shifting weather. The region holds a long history linked to ancient forests, early settlements, and traditional Highland routes. Remnants of the Caledonian pine forest survive here, forming habitats that once covered large parts of Scotland. These woodlands support red squirrels, deer, and birds of prey, giving the park a strong ecological identity. Local culture is reflected in small towns and remote communities that border the park. Craft shops, simple cafes, and seasonal markets highlight local produce and handmade goods. Food often includes fresh meats, baked items, and ingredients sourced from nearby farms. Economically, the Cairngorms rely on outdoor activities, conservation work, and tourism. Visitors arrive for hiking, cycling, wildlife observation, and winter sports on the higher slopes. These activities support family-run lodges and services that maintain the region's quiet rural character. Natural landmarks define the park's appeal. Cairngorm and other high peaks rise above 1,000 meters, 3,281 feet, while glacial cirques hold patches of snow late into the year. Rivers, pine forests, and wide moorlands create varied scenery that shifts from rugged to gentle within short distances. Cairngorms National Park offers one of Scotland's most expansive wilderness areas, combining natural beauty, cultural history, and outdoor adventure. Outer Hebrides. The Outer Hebrides stretch along Scotland's northwest edge as a chain of islands shaped by wind, ocean, and ancient cultural traditions. Their geography includes long beaches, rocky headlands, and inland lochs that create a landscape both open and striking. Human history here spans thousands of years. Neolithic sites, early settlements, and stone circles such as Callanish reveal a deep connection between people and land. Gaelic remains widely spoken, and many place names preserve the island's Celtic and Norse heritage. Local culture moves at a gentle pace. Small villages follow long-established routines, with community gatherings, traditional crafts, and simple meals forming part of daily life. Local food often includes seafood, lamb, and baked goods prepared with regional ingredients. The island's economy depends on fishing, tourism, and small-scale agriculture. Craft weaving, especially Harris tweed, reflects generations of skill and remains one of the region's most recognized products. Seasonal visitors support family-run shops, ferries, and accommodation across the archipelago. Nature defines much of the Hebrides' appeal. Beaches like Luscantire display white sand and clear water, while dunes and cliffs support wildlife such as seals and seabirds. Inland moorlands, quiet lochs, and wide coastal views create some of Scotland's most memorable scenery. Each island feels distinct, offering its own balance of solitude, history, and natural beauty. Together, they form a region where traditions endure and the landscape retains a powerful sense of place. Loch Lomond. Loch Lomond lies at the natural boundary between the lowlands and the highlands, creating a landscape where gentle hills meet rising mountains. At 71 square kilometers, 27 square miles, it is the largest lake in Britain by surface area, surrounded by forests, islands, and quiet rural settlements. The region's history includes early clans, trading routes, and long-standing communities that lived around the loch for generations. Ruins on certain islands and old pathways along the shoreline reflect this deep connection between people and water. Stories passed through local families continue to shape the area's identity. Culture around Loch Lomond is closely tied to outdoor life. Villages host small festivals, craft shops, and simple eateries offering dishes prepared with local produce. Fresh fish, oat-based meals, and warm soups are common in family-run cafes. The economy depends on tourism, recreation, and small businesses. Visitors arrive for water activities, cycling routes, and lakeside walks that suit different levels of experience. Local services, from boat rentals to trail hubs, help maintain a calm, welcoming environment. Natural features are central to its appeal. "38 islands dot the loch, each with distinct views and quiet corners. The eastern shore offers accessible paths and picnic spots, while the western side becomes wilder, with mountains descending directly into the water. Throughout the day, the light changes across the surface of the loch, highlighting its wide expanse and surrounding peaks. This blend of nature, history, and gentle activity makes Loch Lomond one of Scotland's most treasured destinations. Trossachs National Park. Trossachs National Park lies where the lowlands meet the highlands, creating a landscape of mixed forests, quiet valleys, and freshwater lochs. Its geography feels varied within short distances, with gentle hills on one side and steeper highland slopes rising on the other. History in the Trossachs reflects early settlements, clan roots, and long-standing travel paths that once linked different regions of Scotland. Old stone bridges, traditional villages, and preserved routes still show how communities moved through this natural corridor. These features give the park a sense of depth beyond its scenery. Local culture appears in small towns with craft shops, modest eateries, and seasonal markets. Meals often include fresh vegetables, simple soups, and regional produce prepared in a straightforward way. These touches reflect everyday Highland-Lowland life. The economy relies on tourism, conservation, and outdoor recreation. Visitors come for hiking, cycling, boating, and short scenic drives that connect many of the area's lakes. Local businesses support travelers while keeping the region's calm atmosphere intact. Natural landmarks define the park's appeal. Lochs stretch between forested hills, and mountains such as Ben Venue rise with clear viewpoints over valleys and water. Walking routes vary from easy paths near the shorelines to more demanding climbs that reward hikers with broad panoramas. Trossachs National Park offers a compact version of Scotland's diverse landscapes, combining forests, lakes and hills in one accessible region. Its balance of natural beauty and cultural history makes it a memorable part of the Highlands Gateway. Oban sits along Scotland's west coast on a sweeping bay, creating a natural harbour framed by hills and offshore islands. Its geography makes it a key departure point for ferries travelling toward the inner and outer Hebrides. The town's history is shaped by maritime trade, fishing, and coastal communities that developed around the sheltered shoreline. Old streets, waterfront buildings, and nearby ruins reflect centuries of movement between mainland Scotland and the islands. This connection helped form Oban's role as a gateway to the Western Isles. Local culture blends seaside traditions with a relaxed small-town atmosphere. Fresh seafood, especially shellfish and haddock, features often in family-run restaurants. Simple baked goods and locally sourced ingredients appear in small cafes throughout the harbour area. Oban's economy relies on tourism, ferry transport, and local fisheries. Travellers arrive to explore islands such as Mull, Carrera and Lismore, making the town a central hub for island hopping routes. Shops, guest houses and coastal paths support a steady flow of visitors while maintaining a warm community feel. The scenery adds to its character. Views from McCaig's Tower, a hilltop landmark, overlook the entire bay and the distant mountains of the Highlands. Harbour lights reflect on calm water in the evenings, creating a peaceful coastal atmosphere. Oban's blend of maritime heritage, natural beauty, and easy access to nearby islands makes it one of Scotland's most rewarding coastal stops. Isle of Mull. The Isle of Mull rests off Scotland's west coast, shaped by rugged cliffs, calm bays and rolling green hills that reach toward the Atlantic. Its geography includes sea lochs, sheltered coves, and inland ridges that create a landscape rich in wildlife and open space. History on Mull stretches back centuries. Ancient settlements, coastal forts, and routes linking small communities show how people lived across the island long before modern travel. Nearby Iona, reached by a short ferry, adds another layer of heritage with its early monastic past. Local culture moves at a gentle pace. Small villages, community gatherings, and traditional crafts support daily life. Tobermory, the main port, is known for its colourful houses reflected in the bay and remains a central place for shops, cafes, and small market. Food on Mull highlights local resources. Fresh fish, shellfish, and simple island dishes appear in family-run restaurants. Baked goods and produce from nearby farms contribute to a quiet but distinct culinary identity. The economy relies on tourism, fishing, and wildlife-related activities. Visitors explore coastal paths, join boat tours, or search for sea eagles, seals, otters, and red deer, animals commonly seen around the island. Natural features define Mull's appeal. Jagged coastlines meet calm beaches, while inland mountains offer elevated viewpoints over the surrounding sea. Shifting weather and soft light often change the colors of the landscape within minutes. The Isle of Mull blends wilderness, culture, and coastal charm, making it one of the most atmospheric destinations in the Hebrides. Fort William. Fort William stands at the base of Ben Nevis, where mountain slopes meet the shores of Loch Ness and form one of the Highlands' most dramatic settings. Its geography makes the town a natural gateway to rugged peaks, river routes, and wide glens stretching across western Scotland. The area carries a long history shaped by clan territories, early fortifications, and strategic routes linking the Highlands to coastal communities. Old military structures, nearby battle sites, and preserved paths show how this region influenced movement through northern Scotland. Today, these historical traces complement the town's modern role as an outdoor centre. Local culture reflects Highland life. Small shops, simple eateries, and community events maintain a welcoming, down-to-earth atmosphere. Meals often feature local produce, warm soups, and fresh fish, creating a straightforward but satisfying dining experience. The local economy revolves around tourism and outdoor activities. Fort William serves as a base for hikers, climbers, cyclists, and travelers beginning the West Highland Way. Its proximity to key routes supports family-run accommodations, guide services, and small businesses connected to mountain tourism. Natural landmarks shape the town's appeal. Ben Nevis rises to 1,345 meters, 4,413 feet, offering sweeping views from its summit and attracting thousands of climbers each year. Nearby Steel Falls drops dramatically into a narrow valley, while surrounding trails reveal forests, rivers, and open highland views. Fort William's blend of adventure, history, and mountain scenery makes it an essential stop for exploring Scotland's wild Western Highlands. Glenfinnan Viaduct. Glenfinnan Viaduct curves across a highland valley with 21 stone arches that rise above heather-covered slopes and quiet waters. Its location along the West Highland Line creates wide views of glens, ridgelines, and the long stretch of Loch Ness. The viaduct's history dates back to 1901, when engineers built this route through challenging terrain using stone, cement, and local materials. Its construction opened remote regions to rail travel, shaping connections between coastal towns and inland communities. Today, it stands as one of the most recognized examples of Victorian engineering. Local culture adds depth to the area. Nearby villages maintain Highland traditions with small shops and modest cafes offering simple dishes made from regional produce. Community events and craft markets highlight the region's quiet, rural identity. Tourism plays a major role in the local economy. Travelers come for scenic rail journeys, walking paths, and viewpoints where the viaduct appears against the mountains. Guided tours and small guest houses support visitors exploring the surrounding highlands. Landmarks surrounding the viaduct strengthen its significance. Loch Ness stretches below, reflecting changing skies, while the Glenfinnan Monument stands nearby, commemorating a key moment in Scottish history. From many vantage points, the landscape feels open and cinematic, shaped by shifting light and mist along the valley. The Glenfinnan Viaduct blends engineering, scenery, and cultural heritage, making it one of the Highlands' most photographed and memorable destinations. Stirling rises where the lowlands meet the highlands, positioned on volcanic ground that overlooks wide plains and winding rivers. Its geography made the city a strategic passage for centuries, shaping its role in Scotland's political and military history. The area's past is closely tied to castles, battles, and royal families. Stirling Castle, perched high above the landscape, reflects centuries of leadership, ceremony, and architectural change. Nearby sites and preserved routes show how the city became a focal point during defining moments in Scotland's story. Local culture blends university life, small communities, and long-standing Highland traditions. Shops, markets, and simple eateries bring together local produce and modest dishes common to the region. The mix of students, families, and historic neighborhoods gives the city a balanced rhythm. The economy depends on education, tourism, and services that support the surrounding rural areas. Visitors arrive to explore castles, museums, and walking paths that offer views across the valley. The city's location makes it a natural stopping point for travelers heading deeper into the Highlands. Landmarks add depth to the experience. The Wallace Monument rises 67 meters, 220 feet, above the landscape, offering broad views of hills and fields connected to historic battle sites. Old churches, stone cemeteries, and quiet streets reflect the layered history preserved throughout the city. Stirling remains a meaningful part of Scotland, combining heritage, landscape, and a clear link between past and present. Down Castle. Down Castle stands on a rise above the River Tythe, surrounded by gentle hills and woodlands that frame its stone silhouette. Its setting reflects the traditional defensive approach of medieval Scotland, where elevated ground offered protection and wide visibility. Built in the late 14th century, the castle served as both a stronghold and a residence for influential nobles. Thick walls, high towers, and narrow passages show how its design balanced daily life with the need for security. The Great Hall and central courtyard reveal the scale of gatherings that once took place within its walls. Local culture in the area reflects small communities, outdoor paths, and cafes offering simple dishes made with local produce. These touches give the surroundings a modest, rural character that complements the castle's historic presence. Tourism supports much of the modern activity around Doune Castle. Visitors arrive to explore its preserved rooms, walk along riverside trails, and learn about its historical significance. Its appearance in well-known films and television series has increased interest, bringing a steady flow of travelers to the site. Natural features enhance the experience. Wooded areas around the castle create calm walking routes, and nearby viewpoints reveal the landscape stretching toward distant hills. The quiet environment allows the castle's structure and history to stand out without distraction. Doune Castle remains a compelling blend of medieval architecture, scenic surroundings, and cultural relevance, making it an engaging stop on a journey through central Scotland. Wallace Monument. The Wallace Monument rises above Stirling on a steep hill, overlooking wide fields, distant rivers, and the first slopes of the Highlands. Its elevated position gives the tower a commanding presence, making it visible from much of the surrounding landscape. Completed in the 19th century, the monument honours William Wallace, a central figure in Scotland's struggle for independence. Its stone structure, narrow stairways, and viewing platforms reflect Victorian design inspired by medieval fortifications. Inside, exhibition rooms display artifacts and accounts connected to Wallace's life and the battles that shaped the nation's history. Local culture around the monument remains closely tied to Stirling's heritage. Visitors often stop in nearby cafes and small shops where simple meals and local produce reflect the region's everyday rhythm. Walking paths from the base of the hill lead through wooded areas, offering quiet routes to reach the tower. Tourism forms the core of activity here. Travelers climb the spiral staircase to reach the top, where broad views stretch toward the Ochil Hills, the River Forth, and distant Highland peaks. These vistas help illustrate why Stirling was historically a key strategic point. Natural features enhance the experience. Forested slopes provide shade along the ascent, and open clearings reveal changing views of the monument's silhouette. From the summit, the landscape spreads out in all directions, connecting the tower's symbolic purpose with the land it overlooks. The Wallace Monument remains a powerful landmark, combining history, scenery, and national heritage in one striking location. Ullapool sits along Loch Broom on Scotland's northwest coast, backed by hills that rise gently above a long, sheltered waterfront. Its geography gives the town a calm coastal setting, with views across the loch and toward distant island silhouettes. Founded in the late 18th century, Ullapool developed as a fishing port connected to herring trade and maritime routes. Whitewashed buildings along the shoreline reflect the town's Georgian layout, creating a clean, uniform appearance that has endured for generations. These historic streets contribute to the village's distinctive coastal identity. Local culture is shaped by seafood traditions, music, and small community gatherings. Family-run restaurants serve simple dishes prepared from fresh fish, shellfish, and local produce. Evenings often bring traditional performances in small venues, adding to the town's welcoming atmosphere. Tourism supports much of Ullapool's modern economy. Travelers use it as a base for ferries to the Outer Hebrides or for exploring nearby mountains and coastal trails. Shops, guest houses, and small museums help preserve and share the community's maritime heritage. Natural scenery elevates the town's appeal. The harbour reflects sunset colours across still water, while surrounding hills change tone with shifting light and weather. Boat trips offer views of seals, seabirds, and rugged coastline features that define the area. Ullapool combines peaceful surroundings, coastal history, and access to broader Highland landscapes, making it one of northwest Scotland's most inviting small towns.
St Andrews. St Andrews sits along Scotland's east coast, where the North Sea meets gentle cliffs and long stretches of sand. Its geography creates a calm shoreline that frames the town's historic streets and well-preserved ruins. The town's history spans many centuries. Gothic cathedral remains rise above the landscape, marking the site of what was once Scotland's largest religious complex. Nearby, the University of St Andrews, founded in 1413, adds an academic presence that shapes daily life through its historic courtyards and traditional gowns. Local culture blends student life, coastal traditions, and community events. Shops and small eateries offer simple meals made from regional produce, providing a relaxed atmosphere throughout the town. Seasonal activities, book festivals, and local gatherings bring residents and visitors together. St Andrews is also known worldwide as the birthplace of modern golf. The old course stretches along the coastline, shaped for centuries by wind, sand, and rolling terrain. Its fairways remain a symbol of the sport's origins and attract golfers from around the world. Tourism and education form the core of the local economy. Visitors explore the cathedral ruins, coastal paths, museums, and the historic university buildings. Shops, guest houses, and guided tours support a steady flow of travelers while maintaining the town's quiet charm. Natural features complete the experience. Cliffs, beaches, and open sea views offer calm walks and wide panoramas, especially in early morning light. St Andrews brings together heritage, learning, and coastal beauty in a balanced and memorable way. Dundee. Dundee rests along the Firth of Tay on Scotland's east coast, shaped by gentle waterfront slopes and wide views across the estuary. Its geography gives the city an open, bright setting, with the river forming a natural anchor for daily life and modern development. The city's history includes major contributions to trade, textiles, and maritime exploration. For generations, Dundee was known for jute production, shipbuilding, and industries that connected the port to destinations across the world. Historic buildings, converted warehouses, and preserved docks still reflect this industrial past. Local culture blends creativity, design, and community traditions. Museums, galleries, and festivals add a contemporary energy to the city, led by institutions that highlight art, innovation, and storytelling. Small cafes and eateries offer simple meals made from regional produce, supporting a friendly, everyday atmosphere. Dundee's economy has shifted toward technology, education, and creative industries. The waterfront redevelopment, including the V&A Dundee Museum, has strengthened the city's role as a cultural destination. Students, researchers, and artists contribute to a youthful, forward-looking environment. Natural and urban landmarks enhance the city's appeal. The waterfront promenade offers long walks beside the estuary, while viewpoints from nearby hills show the city stretching toward the North Sea. Historic ships such as the RRS Discovery highlight Dundee's role in early Antarctic exploration. Dundee brings together heritage, design, and coastal scenery, creating a distinct blend of history and modern culture along Scotland's eastern shore. Aberdeen Harbour. Aberdeen Harbour sits on Scotland's northeast coast, where the North Sea meets a busy port shaped by centuries of maritime activity. Its geography creates a natural entry point for fishing vessels, cargo ships, and modern supply fleets serving offshore routes. The harbour's history reaches back many generations. It developed from a small coastal settlement into one of Scotland's most significant maritime hubs. Old quays, stone buildings, and preserved dock areas still reflect the city's long relationship with the sea. Local culture blends fishing traditions with everyday urban life. Simple dishes made from fresh cod, haddock, and local shellfish remain common in cafes and restaurants near the waterfront. Craft shops and small markets add to the harbour's lived-in character. Aberdeen's economy is strongly connected to the harbour. It supports offshore oil and gas activity, marine transport, and services for vessels travelling to the North Sea. Fishing continues alongside modern industries, maintaining a link between older trades and new technologies. The scenery adds another layer to its appeal. visitors can watch ships enter and depart, observe harbour wildlife, or walk along coastal paths that overlook the breakwaters. Nearby, older districts with granite buildings create a distinctive backdrop that reflects Aberdeen's architectural style. Aberdeen Harbour remains a working port with deep historical roots. Its combination of industry, maritime heritage, and coastal scenery makes it an important and characteristic part of Scotland's northeast coast. Loch Ness Lighthouse. Loch Ness Lighthouse stands on a rocky headland at the entrance to Aberdeen Harbour, marking the point where coastal cliffs meet the open North Sea. Its location provides wide views of waves, shoreline curves, and ships approaching the harbour from distant routes. Built in the early 19th century, the lighthouse was designed to guide vessels safely past the rugged coastline. Its tall white tower, accented with a bold red band, reflects the traditional style of Scottish coastal engineering. Though no longer operational, it remains an important historic landmark overlooking the water. Local culture around Loch Ness connects maritime life with quiet coastal communities. Small cafes and simple eateries in nearby districts serve dishes made from fresh local seafood. Walking paths and open viewpoints give residents and visitors a calm setting to enjoy the sea air. The surrounding economy is shaped by Aberdeen's role as a major port. Fishing, offshore services, and marine industries continue to operate nearby, while tourism adds support through coastal walks and heritage visits. The lighthouse forms a scenic point along routes that explore the city's maritime past. Natural features strengthen the area's appeal. Cliffs host seabirds, and the shoreline changes tone with shifting weather and light. On clear days, the horizon opens widely over the North Sea, while in rough conditions the waves create a dramatic backdrop beneath the tower. Loch Ness Lighthouse remains a distinctive symbol of Aberdeen's coastal identity, blending maritime history with sweeping sea views. Dunnottar Castle. Dunnottar Castle stands on a dramatic coastal cliff in Aberdeenshire, rising nearly 50 metres (164 feet) above the waves of the North Sea. Its position creates one of Scotland's most striking silhouettes, with steep drops on three sides and a narrow path connecting it to the mainland. The castle's history spans more than 1,000 years. Its fortified headland protected royalty, nobles, and local communities through periods of conflict. Most famously, it sheltered the Scottish crown jewels during Cromwell's invasion, a moment that secured its place in national memory. Local culture in the surrounding area reflects fishing traditions, quiet rural life, and long-established coastal settlements. Simple meals prepared from local seafood and nearby farm produce are common in family-run cafes and inns. These small touches give the region a welcoming and steady rhythm. Tourism forms a major part of the local economy. Visitors walk the steep coastal path to explore the ruins, study the architecture, and enjoy views that extend across rocky shores and open sea. Photography spots, guided visits, and marked trails support steady travel throughout the year. Natural features heighten the castle's atmosphere. Waves crash below the cliffs, seabirds nest along the rock faces, and shifting light transforms the stone walls throughout the day. Stormy conditions make the coastal scenery even more dramatic, highlighting the castle's exposed and powerful location. Dunnottar Castle remains one of Scotland's most iconic ruins, combining rugged beauty, deep history, and coastal drama in a single unforgettable site. Edinburgh Castle. Edinburgh Castle stands on Castle Rock, a volcanic outcrop that rises sharply above the city and creates one of Scotland's most recognisable skylines. Its elevated position provided natural defence for centuries, shaping the fortress into a powerful symbol of Scottish history. A castle has existed on this site since the 11th century, though most current structures date from the 13th century onward. Royal chambers, military halls, and preserved courtyards reveal how the fortress evolved through different eras of conflict and ceremony. St Margaret's Chapel, the oldest surviving building in Edinburgh, adds an earlier architectural layer to the complex. Local culture surrounding the castle blends historic craftsmanship with everyday city life. Streets below the rock host small eateries, modest cafes, and shops offering traditional goods made with local produce. These neighborhoods combine modern activity with the city's medieval foundations. Tourism drives much of the area's economy. Visitors walk through exhibition rooms, view historical artifacts, and explore the ramparts overlooking Edinburgh's districts. Guided tours help explain the castle's role in royal events, battles, and the broader development of the nation. Natural and structural features enhance the experience. Steep cliffs create a dramatic setting, and panoramic viewpoints reveal the city stretching toward the North Sea. Different angles show the castle framed against rolling hills, stone streets, and distant coastline. Edinburgh Castle remains one of Scotland's defining landmarks, offering a clear connection between the capital's ancient origins and its vibrant present. Eilean Castle. Eilean Castle stands on a small tidal island where three sea lochs meet, creating one of the Highlands' most dramatic and photographed settings. Its position is framed by mountain ridges, shifting tides, and calm waters that reflect the stone walls in changing light. The castle's history dates back to the 13th century, when it served as a defensive stronghold against coastal threats. Over the centuries, it witnessed sieges, alliances, and periods of destruction, including its ruin after the 1719 conflict. The carefully restored structure seen today follows original plans, preserving the character of its medieval design. Local culture in the surrounding area reflects Highland traditions and small community life. Nearby villages host simple cafes and eateries offering dishes made from local fish, baked goods, and produce from the region. Craft shops and seasonal markets add to the area's welcoming atmosphere. Tourism plays a major role in the castle's modern identity. Visitors cross the stone bridge to explore interior rooms, historic displays, and viewpoints overlooking the lochs. Family-friendly activities and guided tours help explain the building's heritage and architectural detail. Natural features enhance its appeal. Still waters create mirror-like reflections, while surrounding peaks change tone with weather and time of day. In clear conditions, long views extend across the lochs and toward distant Highland landscapes. Eileandonan Castle blends history, scenery, and cultural memory, making it one of Scotland's most enduring and iconic destinations. Arthur's Seat. Arthur's Seat rises 251 metres, 823 feet above Edinburgh, forming the highest point in Holyrood Park and giving the city a natural landmark shaped by ancient volcanic activity. Its slopes and ridgelines create open views across the capital, the Firth of Forth, and surrounding lowlands. The area carries a long history connected to early settlements and royal traditions. Traces of old paths, defensive structures, and past land use show how people once lived around this volcanic hill. The park's preserved landscape reflects centuries of change while maintaining its natural character. Local culture around Arthur's Seat reflects everyday city life blended with outdoor activity. Residents and visitors walk, run, or picnic along the lower paths, while simple cafes nearby offer modest meals sourced from local produce. The combination of urban energy and natural calm gives the area a distinctive balance. Tourism contributes significantly to activity around the hill. Hikers follow several routes of varying difficulty, each offering different vantage points over Edinburgh. Clear days reveal distant coastlines, while shifting weather often adds atmosphere to the surrounding views. Natural features define Arthur's Seat. Grassy slopes, rocky outcrops, and open plateaus provide habitats for birds and small wildlife. The hill's form, shaped by long-extinct volcanic forces, stands out as a geological landmark within a major city. Reaching the summit offers a broad panorama that connects Edinburgh's medieval streets, Georgian avenues, and coastal horizon in one sweeping scene. Arthur's Seat remains one of the city's most accessible and memorable outdoor experiences. Isle of Arran. The Isle of Arran rests in the Firth of Clyde, shaped by a mix of rugged northern mountains and gentler southern landscapes. Its geography creates the well-known contrast that earned it the title Scotland in miniature, with coastlines, glens, and beaches all within short distances. Arran's history includes early settlements, fortified sites, and small communities that developed around fishing and farming. Ruins, coastal paths, and preserved village layouts show how people lived and moved across the island for centuries. The balance between land and sea remains central to its identity. Local culture feels warm and community-driven. Traditional crafts, small markets, and family-run shops highlight island-made goods such as cheese, baked items, and simple dishes prepared from local produce. Gaelic influence survives in place names and local traditions. The economy depends on tourism, agriculture, and small-scale manufacturing. Visitors arrive by ferry using Arran's towns, especially Brodick and Lochranza, as starting points for exploring trails, beaches, and historic sites. Accommodations, cafes, and outdoor activity services support steady travel throughout the year. Natural landmarks define the island's appeal. Goatfell, its highest peak, rises 874 meters, 2,867 feet, and offers wide views over surrounding ridges and the Clyde estuary. Northern glens feel wild and steep, while the south offers rolling hills, quiet farms, and sheltered bays ideal for coastal walks. Arran's mix of scenery, heritage, and relaxed island life makes it one of Scotland's most balanced and inviting destinations. The Old Man of Storr. The Old Man of Storr stands on the Trossachs Peninsula of the Isle of Skye, rising as a tall basalt pinnacle shaped by ancient landslides. Its steep rock formations create one of Scotland's most recognisable natural silhouettes, visible from long stretches of the coastline. The area holds a history connected to early settlements and long-standing island traditions. Old paths, stone remnants, and Gaelic place names reveal how communities once lived across these landscapes. Stories passed down through generations add cultural depth without relying on myth or exaggeration. Local culture nearby reflects small village life on Skye. Cafes and modest eateries in surrounding towns offer simple dishes prepared from local fish, baked goods, and regional produce. Craft shops and community markets contribute to a quiet but welcoming atmosphere. Tourism shapes much of the modern activity around the site. Visitors follow marked trails that climb gradually toward the base of the pinnacles, with viewpoints overlooking hills, sea lochs, and the wider Trossachs Ridge. Photography spots and guided walks help explain the area's geology and natural features. Nature is the central element here. Grassy slopes rise toward sharp rock spires, while changing weather moves quickly across the landscape. At higher points, clear days reveal long views toward the mainland and the surrounding sea. The Old Man of Storr remains a defining landmark of Skye, accessible, dramatic, and uniquely shaped by the island's volcanic past. Forth Bridge. The Forth Bridge spans the Firth of Forth near Edinburgh, forming a massive red cantilever structure that stretches across open water and coastal headlands. Its location connects the Lothians to Fife, creating one of Scotland's most important railway crossings. Completed in 1890, the bridge represents a major achievement in Victorian engineering. Its steel framework and cantilever design were innovative for their time, allowing long spans to cross deep tidal waters. The bridge's scale and construction techniques helped influence later projects around the world. Local culture around the bridge blends coastal village life with daily rail travel. Nearby towns host small cafes and shops offering simple meals made from local produce. Harbour views and walking paths give residents and visitors places to pause and observe the structure up close. The economy benefits from both transport and tourism. Trains still cross the bridge regularly, supporting regional connections across eastern Scotland. Visitors come to photograph its distinctive shape, explore waterfront trails, and learn about its history through local viewpoints and exhibitions. Natural features highlight the bridge's presence. Tides shift along the estuary, revealing mudflats, seabirds, and reflective water surfaces. Clear days offer panoramic views of the bridge against the coastline, while cloudy weather adds dramatic contrast to its red steel. The Forth Bridge remains a powerful symbol of Scotland's engineering heritage. Functional, historic, and visually striking along the country's eastern shore. Niced Point Lighthouse. Niced Point Lighthouse stands at the western edge of the Isle of Skye, perched on a rocky headland that faces the open Atlantic. Its location creates sweeping views of cliffs, sea stacks, and distant horizons shaped by waves and shifting weather. Built in 1909, the lighthouse guided ships navigating the island's rugged waters. Its white tower and surrounding buildings follow the simple, functional style common in Scottish coastal engineering. Though automated today, the site preserves the atmosphere of its original purpose. Local culture around Neist Point reflects small island communities. Nearby villages offer modest cafes and shops, serving simple dishes made from local seafood and baked goods. Craftwork and regional produce contribute to the area's quiet, welcoming character. Tourism forms the main activity at the site. Visitors walk a steep path toward the lighthouse, stopping at viewpoints overlooking dramatic cliffs and open ocean. The area is especially known for sunset views, where light reflects across the water and highlights the rugged coastline. Nature defines the experience here. Cliffs support seabirds, and on calm days the water below reveals seals or occasional marine life near the rocks. Changing weather often shifts the scene from bright panoramas to atmospheric mist within minutes. Neist Point Lighthouse remains one of Skye's most photographed locations, offering a clear blend of maritime history, raw coastal scenery, and wide Atlantic views. Steel Waterfall. Steel Waterfall lies in Glen Nevis near Fort William, surrounded by steep cliffs, narrow valleys, and dense highland vegetation. Its setting creates a dramatic natural corridor where the landscape tightens into a deep, glacially carved gorge. The area carries a long history linked to Highland roots and small settlements that once relied on these valleys for passage. Old paths and remnants of traditional land use show how communities moved through the region long before modern roads reached it. The glen's preserved character maintains a sense of continuity with this past. Local culture around Glen Nevis reflects simple, rural Highland life. Nearby villages and cafes offer modest meals made from regional produce, often featuring warm soups, fresh fish, and baked goods. These touches provide a quiet contrast to the dramatic scenery. Tourism drives much of the modern activity around Steel Waterfall. Visitors follow a marked trail through the gorge, crossing rivers and narrow footbridges before reaching the open meadow facing the falls. The route suits many experience levels, making the site accessible while still delivering a sense of adventure. Nature is the defining element here. The waterfall drops roughly 120 meters, 394 feet, from a rocky cliff, creating a powerful stream that feeds the valley below. Surrounding slopes covered in heather, grass, and scattered trees shift colors with the light and seasons. Steel Waterfall offers a clear example of Highland scenery, dramatic, accessible, and shaped by natural forces that remain visible in every direction. Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis rises above Fort William as the highest peak in the United Kingdom, reaching 1,345 meters, 4,413 feet. Its broad slopes and rocky summit dominate the surrounding highlands, creating a landmark visible from many nearby glens and lochs. The mountain's history is shaped by ancient volcanic activity. Rock formations near the summit reveal evidence of a long-extinct volcano that collapsed millions of years ago. Old paths and early climbing routes show how explorers and local communities engaged with the mountain long before it became a modern destination. Local culture around Ben Nevis reflects Highland traditions and outdoor life. Cafes and small eateries in nearby towns offer simple dishes such as warm soups, fresh fish, and baked goods. These establishments support climbers and travelers preparing for long days on the trails. Tourism plays a central role in the region's economy. Thousands of hikers visit each year, following routes that vary from well-marked paths to more challenging climbs. Guide services, equipment shops, and lodges help visitors navigate changing weather and ensure safe mountain travel. Natural features define the mountain's character. Lower slopes include forests and streams, while higher sections become exposed rock and open ridges. Clear days offer far-reaching views toward the Atlantic, while mist often surrounds the summit, creating atmospheric conditions typical of the Highlands. Ben Nevis remains a signature symbol of Scottish mountain landscapes, impressive, historically significant, and central to outdoor exploration in the Western Highlands. Outer Hebrides Islands. The Outer Hebrides Islands stretch across Scotland's northwest edge, forming a long chain shaped by Atlantic winds, wide beaches, and quiet inland lochs. Their geography creates a mix of open coastlines, rolling moorlands, and rugged headlands that give each island its own distinct character. Human presence here dates back thousands of years. Neolithic sites, stone circles such as Callanish, and early settlements show how people adapted to these remote landscapes. Gaelic remains widely spoken across the islands, preserving cultural identity through language, place names, and community traditions. Local culture moves at an easy pace, shaped by fishing, crofting, weaving, and strong community ties. Simple dishes made from fresh seafood, lamb, and locally baked items reflect everyday island life. Hand-woven products, especially Harris tweed, represent generations of craftsmanship and remain one of the region's most recognized exports. The economy depends on tourism, small-scale agriculture, and fishing. Ferries and small airports connect the islands, supporting family-run accommodations, local shops, and guided nature activities. Despite growing visitor numbers, the islands maintain a calm, spacious atmosphere. Natural features are the heart of the Outer Hebrides. Beaches such as Luscantire show white sand and bright water, while cliffs host seabirds and provide long coastal views. Inland, moorlands, and quiet lochs create a sense of open solitude rare in modern Europe. Each island offers a different blend of scenery and culture, making the Outer Hebrides a region where landscape, heritage, and community remain closely connected. Orkney Islands. The Orkney Islands lie north of mainland Scotland, forming an archipelago shaped by low green fields, sea cliffs, and sheltered bays. Their geography creates soft rolling landscapes interrupted by dramatic coastal edges where waves break against layered stone. Human history here reaches back more than 5,000 years. Sites such as Skara Brae, Maeshowe, and the Ring of Brodgar show how early communities built settlements, tombs, and stone circles that remain exceptionally well preserved. These landmarks highlight one of Europe's richest concentrations of Neolithic heritage. Local culture reflects a blend of Scottish and Norse influence. Place names, community traditions, and crafts show traces of long contact with Scandinavia. Family-run cafes serve simple dishes made from local seafood, dairy products, and baked goods, giving the islands a warm, everyday atmosphere. The economy depends on fishing, renewable energy, and tourism. Wind farms and tidal projects reflect the island's leadership in clean energy, while ferry routes and small airports support year-round travel. Local shops and small museums help preserve the region's archaeological and maritime story. Natural features shape the experience of Orkney. Cliffs host thousands of seabirds, while coastal paths offer broad views across the North Sea. Quiet lochs, beaches, and farmland create a gentle contrast to the dramatic western shores. The Orkney Islands combine archaeology, coastal beauty, and living tradition, offering a clear and memorable window into Scotland's ancient and modern island life. Aberdeen. Aberdeen stands on Scotland's northeast coast, shaped by wide beaches, granite architecture, and strong ties to the North Sea. Its geography creates a bright, open cityscape where long shorelines meet a busy urban centre. The city's history reflects centuries of trade, fishing, and maritime activity. Granite buildings from the 18th and 19th centuries give Aberdeen its distinctive silver-grey appearance, especially when sunlight reflects off the stone. Old districts and preserved streets show how the city grew outward from its early harbour settlements. Local culture blends coastal traditions with everyday urban life. Simple dishes made from fresh fish, baked goods, and local produce remain common in cafes and small eateries. Communities host seasonal events, markets, and arts festivals that highlight Aberdeen's regional identity. Aberdeen's economy is strongly connected to marine industries. It serves as a major centre for offshore energy, maritime services, and transport routes that support the North Sea. At the same time, universities, technology companies, and creative sectors contribute to a more diversified urban economy. Natural features add to the city's appeal. Long sandy beaches stretch along the coastline, offering open walks beside dunes and rolling waves. Nearby parks, rivers, and coastal cliffs create accessible outdoor spaces within minutes of the city centre. Aberdeen combines coastal scenery, historic stonework, and modern industry, forming a distinctive Scottish city shaped by both land and sea. Plockton. Plockton sits along a sheltered bay on Scotland's west coast, framed by calm waters, gentle hills, and a mild coastal climate unusual for the Highlands. Its geography creates a peaceful setting where palm-like trees, colourful houses, and reflective tides shape the village's distinctive appearance. The village's history is tied to fishing, small-scale trade, and quiet rural life. Traditional cottages line the waterfront, showing how communities developed around the natural harbour. Old paths and preserved layouts reflect the steady rhythm of generations who lived close to land and sea. Local culture moves at an easy pace. Family-run cafes and inns offer simple dishes prepared from fresh seafood, baked items, and local produce. Craftwork and small community events add to the village's welcoming atmosphere. Plockton's economy depends on tourism, fishing, and nature-focused activities. Boat trips depart from the bay to observe seals and coastal wildlife, while nearby walking routes lead through forests, ridgelines, and quiet shorelines. Its mild climate and scenic views attract visitors throughout the year. Natural features are central to the village's charm. Calm water reflects houses and surrounding hills, especially during sunrise and sunset. Rocky beaches, woodland trails, and small islands visible across the bay create a variety of gentle landscapes. Plockton remains one of the Highlands' most picturesque coastal villages, combining natural beauty, community life, and peaceful scenery in a compact and memorable setting. Scotland's landscapes shift from quiet islands to towering mountains, carrying a sense of history in every valley. Each place we explored offered a different view of the country's character, shaped by nature, community, and time. From ancient stones to coastal cliffs and highland towns, these scenes reveal a nation defined by depth and beauty. And long after the journey ends, the light, the wind, and the stillness of these landscapes remain in memory. Wherever your travels lead next, may they bring the same sense of wonder. If this journey added meaning to your day, please consider liking and subscribing. It is completely free, yet it supports the channel more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments, which country should we explore next?